Hello, I'm live. Hello, hello. Joanne, hello, how are you? I didn't get to respond, but when you sent me, uh, I think you sent me an email, and I think I was in Scotland, or actually at that point, England. So I say that I popped over to Scotland and England, and everyone says, "What do you mean you popped over?" I did. I planned it in 23 hours. I took off and I was gone for 11 days. So I call that popped over. Um, anyway, sorry. Sorry I didn't get back to you. Good morning, Stevie. Yeah, it is a beautiful day. So crazy. I think 2 days ago it was freezing. And then yesterday was 88. And then today's supposed to be 84. And then I think Monday's supposed to be 74. So anyway, it's just crazy. Good morning, Lynn and Dave. Nice to have you here. What about Steve? I haven't heard from Steve for a while. I wonder if Steve's here. Michael, good morning. Lauren, good morning. Um, yeah, it was crazy. I don't know how many hours. Well, we left at 1:40 and we arrived into Edinburgh at 3:30 their time, which would be 7:30 for us. So that was 12 and 6. That's maybe like 18 hours to get there because we had to do three different flights. I planned the trip 23 hours before. So when you plan a trip that quickly, you don't have access to all the perfect availability of flights. But anyway, we went. It was amazing for 11 days with my 92-year-old father. And the last time that I went to Scotland with him, because my parents are Scottish, all my friends, family, relatives. I was born and raised here, so I'm American, but I'm really very Scottish. All of my relatives are there. And so, what was I going to say? Oh my gosh. I know I was going to say something. Anyway, I don't remember. All right. Let me see. Oh, wow. Great. All right. So, the last time I went with my dad, that's what I was going to say, was 1984 when I graduated from high school. My dad and I went to Scotland together and England for 5 weeks. And I was 18 years old. So it was like I was bored out of my mind half the time being there with my dad because he had all the things he wanted to do. And I was 18 and wanted to do whatever. And I remember being in London and going down to the bars. And I'm 18, so I'm so boy crazy. And that's all I cared about. And we're in the bar and the guys, you want to like the guy said to me, "Where were you during the Falkland Islands?" And I'm like, "What? Where are the Falkland Islands?" Such a naive American. Anyway, of course I know now. And if you've seen The Crown, there's a really great episode on that. All right. So anything anybody wants to let me know about, please tell me now or forever. Wait, what is it? Wait. Speak. Da, 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 da. Oh, anyway, wow. There's a lot of cognitive stuff going on for me today. That's because I've been flooding my mind. I'm doing a talk today in Clubhouse on fall prevention. So I spent all morning looking at research, different aspects of fall prevention and where the research is. And I'm also creating a food journal for bone health. So I've also been looking at minerals and all the latest, greatest research on food and bone health. So I think my mind is preoccupied. Low back. Okay. Yeah, forever hold your peace. Okay, that's right. That's what I thought. Okay, thanks, Lauren. Or speak now or forever hold your peace. Ooh, right? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I think that's the quote. Wow. Have you guys ever thought about that? Ooh, have you ever thought about that? I have never, ever thought beyond saying things. Like that's another place I'm at in my life. I'm very curious to the origin of sayings. And it's really amazing when you start to look at the origins of sayings because they have a really profound, deep meaning. And as I study yoga, which is a thousands of years old ancient wisdom practice, and then I've also dabbled in Judaism and the spiritual messaging there. and also Christianity. I've been intrigued by certain cultures, the American Indians and the Mayan and Aztec traditions. I'm really intrigued by ancient wisdom, that the wisdom that was given to human beings, or that human beings learned without science and without all the modern ways that we have now to get information, without Google it, without being able to say, well, let me Google it. I'm so intrigued. And honestly, the more I learn about cultures, even my culture, the Celtic traditions of Scotland, England, Ireland, where my people are from, DNA, 23andMe, I am 90 whatever percent from that part of the world. As if I didn't know that all my grandparents and my parents and everyone is born there, my DNA shows it. And I'm just so intrigued by ancient cultures and wisdom. And yet we don't think about the sayings that have passed on. So last week in one of my courses, I was saying, our moms always said, sit up tall, right? We were always told to sit up. And I think posture is a huge contributor to accelerated aging, to chronic inflammation, to bone density loss, to mental emotional sadness or depression. So I see that now. So sit up tall is huge. The other one, last week I wrote an article or a newsletter on this. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And that actually helps to repattern our mind, the way we show up, the things we say, and the grooved thought process we're on when we actually blurt out negativity, right? So moving the needle off of the, like the scratch in the record, moving the needle off so you're not in that deep groove. And so when I hear this, speak now or forever hold your peace. Think about that. That means if it's worth speaking about, if you feel that passionately about it, if you want to speak about it, then show up and do that. Or forever hold your peace. Be a duck. Don't let it bother you anymore. If it's something that you should get flustered about, then get flustered and speak up, or let it go. And so that, when we talk about stress management, that is the key, is that we want to learn about not being reactive. What? She said what? They did what? Da, 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 da. You don't want to be reactive. We want to be responsive. We want to bring in a deeper intellect and a different viewpoint, or at least a viewpoint, without going to an emotional set point and a reactivity. So this is a stress management class, right? So that's the mental layer. That's the tools for learning about present. And it's really about present moment, right? Yoga teaches us to live in the present because this is where happiness is. So speak now if it's something you should speak about, or forever hold your peace, let it go because it wasn't something you were able, willing, or capable of dealing with at that moment. All right. So I was with my dermatologist yesterday and we were having a deep conversation about relationships. And I think the most important aspect is respect. And we just had these deep conversations and he's like, Debbie, you need to have a podcast. You need to speak more about these things. So anyway, I want to respect that we're here thinking we're going to be moving our body, which yes, that's a part of it. That was the mental postures of yoga, some of the philosophy and wisdom that I shared there that I learned in studying yoga and realizing that it's here too. Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right. So for today's practice, I would like us to move our body, to connect our breath to our body, to explore the range of motion that's safe in your body, and to turn on your inner knowing. It's called the Buddhi, Buddhi in yoga. It's the inner deep intellect. It's a part of you that says, yes, this is safe, or maybe I shouldn't. And I'd really like you to really turn on your ears, your inner ears for this. We're going to flow through some things. And I was reading an article this morning on fall prevention, and there's correlation between weak back muscles and weak core that contributes to falls, which then leads to a lot of not great stuff. So today's class is going to focus on taking away the stress of potentially falling and worrying about that. And we're going to work on lubricating our body, moving our body, stretching our body, and strengthening our trunk, core, and back muscles. So I hope you're ready. And I hope that you will only do what's appropriate for you. That's important. All right. So we're going to begin today's practice doing this, because most of us are like this. And so we want this, we want to get rid of this. So come into a seated position wherever you are. I want you to go through ranges of flexion and extension. If you could sit like I am in Vajrasana Hero's pose, choose this. And if you need to sit on your tushy with your kneecaps pointing out to the side, do that. All right, so if you need to sit in Sukhasana and move through flexion and extension, or if you need to sit in Baddha Konasana through flexion and extension. What I really want you to do is make this mostly be in the pelvis. So don't just round here in flexion and push up here. I want this pelvis to move. Let your pelvis rock. Let that be where it happens. You have two lower spine bones in your pelvis, sacrum and tailbone. Let them rock and roll. For those of you that are rock and roll lovers, here's the rock and roll. Pelvis, forward and back. I had the thought yesterday that I was going to say to someone, I can't remember who I was speaking to, you're still the 18-year-old. You are still that person. That soul energy is still in there. Let's kind of get back to some of the fun, untainted, untethered, not affected, carefree aspects, ignorance is bliss aspects. Move your body forward and back. And when you start to release some of the tension in your body, the held muscular tension and stress in the body, you can actually then start to release that tension in the mind. And then bring yourself to a static position. Close your eyes. Let yourself arrive here to this moment. Not 5 minutes ago, not 5 minutes from now, but right here, right now. Feel your body, close your eyes, explore. What are you showing up with today? What is the body today that you're showing up with? Is there tension in the upper back and neck? Is there tension in the low back? Are the knees bothering you? The hips are bothering you? Or do you feel great and you don't have any aches and pains? Notice where you are and how you're showing up today. And then for those that do have issues in their tissues, low back, upper back, knees, whatever, I want you to bring your awareness to the area that you have those issues. And I want you to try to figure out a little bit of some of the contributory aspects. Is there a standing too much, sitting too much lately? Has there been that? Is there dehydration that maybe exists in your tissues? Do you have a lot of mental, emotional stress? Because the psoas muscle attaches to the low back, all 5 vertebrae. And when that muscle gets tense, either physically from sitting too much, or mentally, emotionally, when you're feeling ungrounded and unsettled. Or if you have a lot of grief and depressive feelings and you have that heaviness pushing from above, shoulders and head, bringing you into this more flexed position. So if you are experiencing upper back, neck, mid back, low back, see if you could see some of the physical and mental, emotional, and then biochemical, meaning the dehydration aspects. Or your knees, arthritis. Are you using it so you don't lose it? Are you paying attention to joint alignment? Are your muscles that mobilize and stabilize your joints as strong as they could or should be? All with a neutral mind, no negativity here, just observing. You're in a witness. You're not in that body experiencing that. You're sitting outside trying to come up with potential, maybe this is contributing to this. Bring your hands together, rub your hands together, bring your hands to your chest. Rub your hands up and down your chest, the sides of the thumbs, so you feel the flesh of the hands touching the chest, and then push the chest to the hands to the chest. See how that helps to support and activate back muscles. Push your head back, chin slightly down to have a long back neck. And then push your hands into each other. Push the pinkies into each other. Push the pointer fingers into each other. Push the middle fingers into each other. Push the pointer fingers like crazy into each other. Push the thumbs into each other like crazy. And now the whole palm, the whole hand. Let's take one M-sounding humming sound to settle everything, to settle the mind, to bring you to this one point, this one place. Take a deep breath down to your belly. Gently bring your awareness to your eyes and open your eyes. And when you do your sounds, it's really also great to pay attention to how you feel about your sound. In a group setting, very hard for me to get people to make any noise because there's a lot of whatever it is. We don't sing a lot here in the West in groups, right? Many other cultures do. And I think it's really important, by the way. I think it's a real good part of lung health is singing. All right. So if you drive next to me in the car, you'll see me belting out songs I've been listening to. They had a radio station called Silly Oldies for the Silly Oldies, or Oldies for the Silly Oldie Lover, or something like that. And some of them are like from the 90s, and I'm like, what? That's not an oldie. So I thought, who puts this playlist together that they consider that oldie? All right, I guess it's all relative to our age. Block and strap for today's practice. I'd like to begin today with a chest opener. I'm going to do my favorite one, which requires 2 blankets. And you may have access to 2 blankets, or you may have access to 2 towels. So go ahead, and if you only have one, see if you could get another, or we're going to put something behind our chest here. So for you, it could be a block, which is not quite as yummy. A block to go behind your heart, or a pillow. So go ahead and gather those. And then with the blanket, you want it to be the long way. And you want to take the blanket, and we want to fold the blanket. Make sure there's no bumps in it. And then let's take the other blanket. And you're going to take the other blanket, same thing, long, not short. Short would get too high of a fold and too much support and take away the aspect of gravity helping to correct posture and opening up some of the small muscles of the spine and where the arm attaches to the body. So let's take the blanket and fold the blanket like this. So one blanket is going to go like this, and one blanket is going to go like this. So you make the shape of the letter T, like a small T. And this is really great to help correct posture. It feels delicious and yummy, really supportive of the spine. I love this one. So hopefully you do as well. So let's bring ourselves to a position to come down to the ground. So the goal here is to do a gentle, this is a restorative pose. This is also going to hydrate your tissue. So whatever fluids have been squished out of your discs and your vertebra now have the opportunity to come back in and lubricate your spine. So it's like a spine bath. All right, so let's go ahead and come down. Make sure you're nice and long in your spine when you do this. The tushy is on the ground. The tushy is not on the blanket. You want that blanket to begin right at the top of the back of the pelvis. And then the blanket that's up high is supporting your head. So not the shoulders, let it be the head. And then the arms come out to the side. So let the arms, actually, let me see something. Yeah, okay. So let your arms go out to the side. And I like the knees to be bent to the beginning
because it allows the stretch and the spinal manipulation to be received by your body. And that's important because it seems like, all streams lead to the ocean. And in this case, most movements in the spine lead to the lower lumbar. And if you actually look at the structure of your spine, the lumbar bones, the 5 lower back bones, are the biggest. And they don't have joints to move in a rotational force. They're very solid. So they're the structural aspect of your spine. And so when we look at the anatomy of the vertebrae, you see the function that those bones do. So the lower back is for stabilizing, for structure. And so when you start to move the structure above the thoracic spine, which is 12 bones here, that can relate down to the low back. So I like to begin with the knees bent. And then once your body has received this, once you feel whatever is appropriate, then you could begin to explore straightening the legs. And I'd suggest you do that one at a time, because depending on what's going on in your low back, your pelvis, your hip joint, your knee joint, and in your alignment, you've got to explore what feels appropriate for you. And with the eyes closed, let's turn on the inner eyes to feel. So the external eyes are closed, the internal eyes open. And see if you could feel left side, right side, and if there is more pulling in one side versus the other. Or notice where you feel, I use the word pulling, it's the word stretch. And it's the word pulling. I use the word pulling when we're strengthening bones, pulling on the bones, because we want to create the stress for bones to get stronger for us. So wherever the stretch is occurring for you, make sure it's appropriate. And then let your body be heavy. So let's inhale the word relaxation. And let it go all the way down to your feet. And then exhale the word tension. So you inhale the word relaxation, the relaxation comes in, and then the tension is the softening of your limbs, your body. So you feel a heaviness, like whatever the actual weight is of your leg, let that weight be exactly what is pressing into the floor. So there's no holding. You're trying to turn off every muscle that you have access to, conveying safety, conveying relaxation. Inhale relaxation. Exhale tension. And then bring your awareness to your pelvis. And in your pelvic area, I want you to inhale the word relaxation. Exhale the word tension. Lots of stuff here in the pelvic area. It's where you have your colon, which helps to eliminate the stuff that we no longer need, that no longer serves us. the tubes that come off of the kidneys are right around the area of the belly button area. Unless, of course, you've had a kidney transplant, I think that may be even lower. And this is where the kidneys filtrate out and release from your body that which no longer serves you. You have your intestines, uterus if you have one, and then you have all the ligaments that hold the pelvic bone together. And the lower back is actually embedded in the pelvis at the back, the sacrum and the tailbone. So the way we move and sit and stand affects the muscles and the ligaments. So inhale, relaxation. Exhale, tension. You also have your psoas and your iliacus. Ilium. Well, ilium is a bone. Ischium and ilium are the pelvic bones. You have a muscle that attaches there, that attaches with the psoas and attaches onto your inner leg. So relax, relax, relax. Inhale, relaxation. Let it go to your pelvis. Exhale, tension. Feel the pelvis softening and relaxing and becoming heavy. So heavy and so relaxed that it no longer has anything to do with creating tension in the low back. Then bring your awareness to the low back. Inhaling relaxation, exhale tension. So breathe in and breathe back. You may even feel a push against the lower spine and a movement towards the floor of the lower spine. When you inhale relaxation, exhale tension. Sometimes a good visual here is that as you inhale relaxation, imagine a door opening, like elevator doors sliding open as you inhale relaxation. And that visual can sometimes bring in the opportunity for a release. And then allow the breaths of relaxation to go to the low belly and the side waist. So you feel a stretch on your tissues of your body in between the lower ribs and the pelvis. Bring your awareness now to the lower ribs, right below the low ribs. Inhale, relaxation. Exhale, on the way out goes tension. This is your primary breathing muscle, your diaphragm. And the voluntary, which means you have control over it, part is the inhale. So I want you to voluntarily bring in relaxation. As you breathe in, feel the lower ribs expand, expand, expand. And as you exhale, feel the release and feel the word tension leaving your body. One more breath like that. Bring your awareness to your rib cage. Inhale, relaxation. Feel your entire rib cage expand. And on the exhale, release tension. This is where the heart chakra is, the energy of the heart, the energy of the ability to love and be loved. So inhale relaxation to love. Love others, love yourself. Exhale, release tension around that for you. Whatever that means, wherever it came from. Label it or not. Just try to be soft and to let the magic happen. Turning on the light in the room so you can actually see. Let's bring our awareness to our throat. Inhaling to the throat. This is where the fifth chakra, the right to speak and to be heard. Speak now or forever hold your peace would be in this part of your energetics. So breathe to your throat, relaxation, feel relaxation. Throat is wide and big, neck is long. And let go of tension, whatever it is. Notice what comes up for you. If anything gets too challenging, notice what the date is, where you are. Present moment. And then bring your awareness to your head. To the you and whatever you came through to get here in this date, whatever the date is. Every person you came through, whatever your lineage is, all the wisdom. Sit up tall. Don't speak unless you have something nice to say. Or if you don't have anything nice to say, don't speak. Whatever the lineage is from your heritage. That third eye, the Ajna chakra, is right here in the middle of the eyeball area. So the middle of the two eyebrows, right there, your third eye. But it's actually not right there on the surface. It's in the center of your mind, center of your brain. And in yoga, when you see the bindi, the people, when they put the ash on their forehead, it's the portal into their consciousness, into their deeper reasoning. It's called a bindi or bindu. Bring in relaxation to you connecting to your deeper self. Not getting caught up in the game of life and the stickiness and the heaviness of what it means to be a human. And more about a human doing. This part of you is your human being. Inhale relaxation. Exhale tension. Inhale human being. Release human doing. Inhale human being. Release human doing. Let it go. There is nothing to do. Just be. Feel the heaviness of your body. And notice if the parts of you that usually physically bother you, what's happening to them right now? What is the volume control in the areas that you usually have trouble with? And then see if you feel heavy at the back of your body. Like you just released all the stuff that holds you up, and now you're like a solid weight pressing into the ground. Inhale relaxation everywhere. Exhale tension. 2 more like that. All the way to your fingertips and your toes and the crown of your head, like a 5-pointed star. Let go, let go, let go. Bring your awareness to your fingers and your toes. Wiggle them, move your body. And come up to your mind with anything that was shared in this last few moments. What it did for you. Were there any aha moments? What was the reactivity to that information? Did it make sense? Did you notice that you're human doing too much instead of human being enough? Go ahead and bend your knees, put your feet flat on the ground. Did you notice that maybe the pain centers in the brain actually turned down the volume as you redirected your mind to different parts of your brain and away from pain centers. Maybe, maybe not. Let's open the eyes back to reality. And then let's come on to our side. And then open up your hands. We're going to lead with our shoulder. We're going to come up to a seated position. Push yourself away from the ground and bring yourself up. And notice how you feel. So maybe a little woo-woo. That's definitely the spiritual depth that exists in the yoga practice. And I feel super chillaxed right now. I feel very human being. And I feel okay to share what I share. Sometimes I worry, and I think for some of you it may be, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? My third eye, my connection to consciousness, my heart energy. So I guess for those of you that aren't ready yet, oh well, one day maybe you will be or not. And for those who are, soak it in, because that's how you heal on deep layers. All right, now we're going to do some flowing. We're going to move. We're going to open up our vessel so we can be more receptive. So the ability to speak and be heard, the ability to love and to receive, and the ability to connect on a deeper level to your human beingness versus your human doingness. You need your package to be limber and receptive. So we just bathed our spine. Now let's start to bathe our joints. So beginning like the tin person in the forest with really creaky joints, come to all fours, put your blanket on your mat, fold your blanket. For those with knee issues, why don't you try 2 blankets and see if that helps, or get pillows and put your kneecaps on pillows so that you have less weight. Set yourself up for success and set yourself up for comfort. All right, come onto all fours. Let's crawl around and let's reset almost every single joint in your body, even joints in the ears. Crawling, keep your head lifted so you can actually start the process of strengthening the upper back and neck. And then if crawling around like this is too much for you, can you crawl forward and backwards on your pillows or your blankets? And then if your wrists are not super happy, have your wrists be even more far forward, because then you'll bend your wrist a little bit less. Or you could come up onto fists for wrists, where you actually don't bend the wrist at all. Maybe a little bit more challenging on the fingers. So I notice a breakdown in the body as we age, because this is what I do, and I'm working with a lot of people and I see a lot of bodies. Wrists and forearm and shoulders and upper body, we need to weight bear on it so that we actually create strength in that area. And then go ahead and bring yourself back. So weight bearing on your hands is really important. And there's a correlation between grip strength and not great things about aging. So especially like bone density, there's a correlation between lower grip strength and weaker bones, and not just about dense bones, but not strong bones. So I think being on your hands is a really important thing to bring into your life, and finding your way slowly but surely, baby stepping your way to where you can apply some kind of weight on your hands. And sometimes that may mean you're not fully down like this, but rather you're on a chair with your feet so that you're a little bit higher and there's a less of a flat aspect to your body. You're a little bit more angled, or even up against a wall. Going up against a wall and putting your hands on the wall may be a great place to start. So let's flow through puppy dog and up dog. So let's be dogs. You know, they watched animals. The way they came up with these postures in our body is because they observed nature and the way animals created more space and stretch in their body. And that's why many of these postures are named after animals. So we're going to do puppy dog. And this is with the tushy high in the air. The big thing here is look at my pelvis. Pelvis is over my knees. Pelvis moves back. Pelvis is over my knees. Pelvis moves back. Hands are forward. Hands are spread. Elbows are straight. So it is the movement of the hip. You're bending the hip and the knees, and you're coming forward. So we're keeping our spine nice and long here. Bend the hips and the knees. If you had raw eggs in between the lower belly and the top thighs, you would crack your eggs on your way back.
but we're going back and not down. So it's hips and knees, it's not spine. If it were spine, then the spine, lower back would go into flexion and you would come forward into what's called child's pose. We're not doing child's pose. We're staying up here with puppy dog and we're lengthening our spine. Now keep your gaze either straight down or forward. Don't round your upper back and neck. And then on this next one, come all the way back, stay here. See if you can let your forehead, that place we were speaking about, so the space between the eyebrows is your portal to your deeper consciousness, and it's how we connect to our higher self. Hands are spread, fingertips press into the ground, palms press into the ground. Maybe here you feel a stretch underneath your armpits or your chest. Push your heart down towards the ground. Try to get your back as straight as you can. Take an exhale here. And then inhale, come up slowly. Let your gaze go forward. You're rolling in your shoulder joint. Go slow as you let your pubis bone, which is the base of your torso, come closer to the ground. Feel a stretch in your belly here. Have your legs be a little bit wider so that you feel safe in your low back. And then exhale, push your belly button back towards your spine. Come back up into the puppy dog. Inhale forward into the up dog, or kind of like an up dog. Usually up dog, we have our kneecaps off the ground. But spinal lengthening or traction is what I'm going to say we're doing in the puppy dog. And then spinal extension. We want more back bending in our lives. Push your heart forward here. Pull your low ribs away from the floor. Exhale back. Hands are wide, legs are wide. And then for those that this is it's an issue, you could put a bolster or a pillow underneath the belly button area so that when you come forward, you don't actually have to go that low or bring that much of a bend into your spine. The next time you come to puppy, stay here. Stay here. If you'd like, you can look over your shoulder towards your heel. Feel that stretch on the opposite side, adding a little bit of rotation. And then the other side. Look over towards your feet. Back to center, push your heart forward, and then bring yourself all the way up. And take your hands. So that was also weight bearing on the lower arms. So if that was a challenge, wider hands, maybe a pillow to take some of the body weight here, trying to find some way to do these shapes in your body. Because it's about the shape, it's about what we're doing to our joints. And then that will affect all the other tissues, the connective tissue, the muscles, ligaments, tendons. Let's take your wrist, push your wrist towards your body. Feel that stretch on the top of your wrist. Try not to have shoulder earrings, so lower the shoulders, have softness in your shoulders, and then take your hand like this. Sometimes it helps to go across the body diagonally when you do this. And then pull the hands back towards your body. And smile. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Straight arm. Make sure there's no shoulder earring. Push your shoulder down. And then pull your fingers, your hand back towards your shoulder. And then go ahead and shake your wrists. We're going to come down on the ground because remember the back muscles play a role in fall prevention. They also are what helps to keep our posture so that we sit more upright as opposed to it's called kyphosis, when there's a rounding in the upper spine. We don't want this in our body. And once you get this, it ends up calcifying and hardening, and then you get stuck here. So we do not want that. So the blanket is underneath your knees. Let's take your legs back. We're going to go through a dolphin plank. So we're going to do this today. We're going to take the hands like this. And when you clasp your hands, the pinkies, unclasp them so that one is
inside of the other. I don't know if you could see that from there. So that this part of your hand is pretty flat. So the knees are back to the back edge of your blanket. You start with your hands in that position and you bring yourself forward. Walk your elbows so your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. So keep your elbows under your shoulders. Push your hands and your arms into the floor. And then here you could stay in the modification, or you could bring yourself up into the dolphin. So it's up to you. And then you're going to push away. Now keep your head forward. Don't let the upper back round. So you either want your eyes to be closed or looking right over at least the wrists or the hands. Push your heels back. Push the left pinky toe and all the toes into the ground strongly. So you feel that all the way up to where your leg attaches to your body and maybe even higher. And then do the same thing with the right. The pinky toe, all the toes, press into the floor, press away. Both feet press strongly. Bring your awareness up to your tailbone. Point your tailbone down in between your heels. Hug your lumbar spine. Push your belly button up towards your spine. Then bring your awareness to your elbows. Left elbow presses in, left arm, left hand. Right elbow, right arm, right hand. Both elbows, both arms, both hands. One more breath. And then bring yourself down. Stay here with the elbows. This is Sphinx posture. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. Forearms are on the ground. This is a good way to stretch the front of the body. And sometimes it's the tightness of the front of the body from sitting too much that actually pulls you into that rounded postural position. So some of the other factors that contribute to poor posture is the tight psoas, the tight belly muscles. So this is Sphinx. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. Forearms are on the ground. Palms are spread. Fingertips are reaching away from you. And then I want you to bring your awareness to your low ribs. Push your low ribs towards the ground and then pull them away from the ground. And then push your upper spine where your ribs are, push that forward. So push the heart forward, not towards the ground, but lifted up. So you're trying to facilitate that back bend in your spine. Your throat is open. And then push your feet into the floor. Push the pinkies into the floor, the pinky toes. And then breathe down to your belly, and that'll deepen the stretch. And then exhale. Inhale, look over your shoulder towards your foot. Inhale back to center. Or sorry, we're going to change that breath. And then inhale to look over your foot. Exhale back to center. Inhale to look back over the other foot. Exhale back to center. Go slow. Try to feel the stretch here deep in your abdominal area. We're actually rotating the spine. We're in extension. We're putting weight on our shoulders, our upper back. One more. And then bring yourself forward. Reach long. So pull your ribcage away from your pelvis as you come down. Fold your hands one on top of the other. Let the elbows go straight out to the side. And then rest the forehead right where the eyebrows are on the back of the top hand. Breathe deep down to your belly. And then switch hands. Put the other hand on top. See if it feels any different in your body. Do you feel your lower ribs or your low belly moving towards the floor? Do you feel it evenly on both sides? So let's do a little to strengthen our back. Walk your feet closer towards each other. Let the big toes touch. Let's take our, keep your hands where they are. Let's exhale. And as you inhale, lift your upper body up away from your hands. Your elbows and your forearms and your palms are pressing into the ground, and then exhale to lower. Inhale, you can let your head move forward a little bit. So eyes could be closed, but if they were open, you would see the top edge of your mat, or at least above your hands. Go slow. If you close your eyes, you could feel your muscles gently contract. So you have erector muscle group, muscles that go on either side of the spine that are attached to your pelvis. Those are contracting to lift you. You also have muscles that are attached or moving in and out of the spine. You have bigger muscles that are on the back of the body that contract. Take one more. And then bring yourself down. Let the forehead touch the floor. Take your arms out to the side and let your elbows come right off of where the armpits are. So your arms are not too high, but they're right in alignment with your upper body. And then let the palms be down on the ground. Fingertips are pointing forward. Let your forehead touch the ground. So right where above the eyebrows, let that touch the ground and your nose. For those with a lot of tension in the upper back, they like to put the chin on the ground. I want you to actually lengthen your back neck and put your forehead on the ground. Notice if that's a challenge for you. Exhale. Inhale. Lift yourself up like you're a kitten and you're being lifted up by the nape of your neck, which is right where your neck attaches to your upper body. Let that be what lifts up and then lower down. Begin by contracting your core. Push your pubis bone into the ground. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. One more. Lift and stay. Now really hug your lumbar spine. Push your belly button back towards your spine and push the pubis bone, the very front part of your torso, into the ground. That'll help. And then slowly exhale to lower. Now open up your hands, bring them a little bit closer to your body. So you're on a mat. If you're on a mat, or if you're not, think about this. The mat's about 2 feet wide. You want your thumbs and your pointer finger on the mat. And then you want your hands to be right along your armpit area if you have some good mobility in your body. And if you don't, you could have them a little bit higher and maybe even a little bit farther away from your body. So right next to your armpits, thumb and pointer finger on the mat would be for those that have a big range of motion in their body, a lot of bendability. And then if not, you move your hands a little higher, maybe a little bit away. The key here is elbows are in at the side of the body. They're not up towards the sky. So bring the elbows back towards the body. Now push your hands into the ground. And as you push them down, slide them back towards your feet. You're going to feel a movement forward of your whole body. Forehead touches the ground. Take an exhale here. Inhale to lift. You're going to get a little higher here. Exhale to lower. This is cobra. Push your feet into the floor. You could let your kneecaps come off the floor. Push your pubis bone. Inhale to lift. Hands are pressing down, sliding back towards the feet. Exhale to lower. Keep your elbows low. Let your shoulder blades stay on your back towards your spine. And let your head look forward. Exhale, lower. So the head can go a little higher on this one. Inhale to lift. Feel those muscles contract. Now you're going to feel stuff in your low back. So push your pubis bone into the ground and support the core. Activate the core. Next time you come up, stay up. Take your hands off the floor. If your body lowered down, stay down to where it lowered. Push your hands down, push your feet in, push your heart forward.
Take one more breath. And then lower down, bring your hands to folded one on top of the other. Take your knees a little wider, bend your feet and do a little side to side here to release tension in the low back. Kind of let your legs flop a little bit here. So you let relaxation come in. Now we are strengthening the back here. So it's important to know that, yeah, you're strengthening. So you're going to feel your back. And we want to feel safe when we're doing that. And then bring yourself back to center. Feet are long, toes are touching the ground. Let's take the arms back alongside the body. Let the forehead touch the floor. And then lift the arms off the floor, slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Keep the forehead touching the floor and the nose, not the chin. Keep the elbows down by the waist. Exhale. Inhale. Slide your hands up as far as your body will let you. Exhale, bring your elbows closer to your waist. It's like jumping jack arms. Inhale up. Exhale back. Lift your hands high so they're at least as high as your body if you can. Feel those muscles on your back getting nice and warm, lifting against gravity and drawing the shoulder blades up and down the back of your body. Press your forehead into the floor. And then come to a static hold. Either the arms are alongside your body. Push your hands up, backs of the hands towards the sky. Lift the elbows, lift the arms. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Push the pubis bone into the ground. And then go ahead and release. Turn your head to the right. Let the ear and the cheek touch the ground. Take your arms alongside your body. Palms are up towards the sky. Let your shoulders round forward. If this, and let your legs be separated here pretty wide. If there's a lot of, and then reach your shoulders away from your ears. And let the shoulders round forward. If you feel a lot of tension, it's too much, you could take your right hand out to the side and even bend the elbow if you need more relief. So really let the cheek and the ear be on the ground, stretching the upper back and neck. Of course, a little more challenging if we have stuff in the front of our body, meaning stored energy, or for females, more tissue. Breathe down to your belly, wiggle your body. So let tension leave the body here. Inhale, relaxation. Exhale, tension. Inhale, relaxation. Exhale, tension. Let's go to the other side. So tuck the chin down towards the chest. Lift the head up. The forehead can stay really close to the floor when you do this. And then roll so that you place your left ear and your left cheek on the ground. And then notice, are both sides the same, or do you feel a little bit more tension in one direction? Sliding your shoulders away from your ears, letting your shoulders round forward. Let the pelvis rock back and forth. Let the weight of your head go, weight of the shoulders. Let go of the tension. Inhale, relaxation. Exhale, tension. Inhale, relaxation. Exhale, tension. Take one more breath. We're going to come up to a seated position. So turn your head to the right, take your left hand up and roll onto your left side. Bend your knees, cradle your head in your left arm, take your right hand on the ground. Push away from the ground and bring yourself up. Notice how you feel. We're going to do a back stretch here because there's a lot of back work done there. And sometimes in order to relieve low back discomfort, we need to stretch the back as we did
in the flow of puppy dog into up dog. And then we need to strengthen the back muscles so the back, upper back holds you up, holds your head on top of your body, especially if you sit a lot, do a lot of stuff on the computer or on the phone or cooking or gardening. And we need to do that so that we can have stronger support. So we're gonna come into the turtle posture, turtle here, legs are together, hands thread through the legs. So the hands go forward and then they thread through and you come forward. Now, for osteoporosis, I wouldn't do this. So for osteoporosis, I would sit here and have a nice long spine and use my hands on my thighs and really lengthen, push my pelvis into the ground and create as much stretch as possible, because you don't want to put too much pressure on the front of your spine, and that leads to spinal fractures, which can contribute to falls. And 55% of people that have a hip fracture had previous vertebral fractures. So making sure we minimize vertebral fractures. If you don't have osteoporosis, you could come into a turtle position where you're really pushing your pelvis into the ground and you're stretching your low back like crazy. The other safe option for low back stretching would be puppy dog for those with osteoporosis. And the goal here really is to stretch the back, not so much about crunching around in the front, pushing the tailbone into the ground. You can have your hands underneath for some traction, or you could bring your hands on top. Really lengthen your spine here, right? So it's not about rounding the spine, especially the upper spine. It's about lengthening and stretching. And then go ahead and come up. We're going to come down into the ground, do a little bit of core work, which is supportive of posture of the trunk, for fall prevention, for healthy back, for lots of things. All right, so for this, you're going to need your strap and you're going to need your block. If you have osteoporosis, come to the side when you come down, or you could roll down the other way for those that are okay to do that. Draw the knees into the chest, rocking side to side. And then let's do a little to warm up the hamstrings here. So a little bicycle action. Knees closer to the chest. If your low back is bothering you, or if you don't have strong core, if you have a stronger core, you could actually take your legs right above your pelvis. And this is going to stretch hamstrings, warm up hamstrings, and it's actually going to fire up the core. You can actually feel it. I love to do this. Take your fingers into the lowest middle part of your belly and feel that super, super hard transverse abdominis that's contracted to really stabilize pelvic position here. Let's go ahead and put our feet in the ground. Take your strap. And let's take one leg, doesn't matter which leg. I want to stretch the hamstring because that attaches to the pelvis and has an effect on low back. So hold on to your strap, one in one hand, one in the other, and then straighten the opposite leg if you can. Either the leg is straight or bent, and let's draw the leg back towards the wall behind so that you feel a stretch in the back of your thigh. And then pull the strap down, push that tushy, whatever side you're stretching, push the back of the tushy into the ground. So you're really rooted nice and deep in the hip joint. You're getting a nice stretch in your hamstring. Take one more breath. And then unbend the other leg if it was straight. Bring the foot up into the strap. Take the other foot onto the ground. Straightening that leg if that's appropriate for your body. And pulling the strap down to really root that leg in the socket. Draw the leg back, come into the stretch. Nice long neck. Take one more breath. Anywhere you feel the stretch here. Lots of muscles that could be stretched with that strap. Go ahead, take the strap off. Let's bring the legs in here. We're going to do some core work. So you're going to take your hands straight up towards the sky. So the hands are straight up towards the sky. And then you're going to activate the upper spine. So the thoracic spine where the 12 ribs are, Push your heart towards the ground and feel that spine pressing towards the ground. And then activate your core. So hug your lumbar spine. Feel like you're squeezing a big juicy navel orange in your belly area, bottom of your where your legs attach and the lower ribs. Squeeze it towards each other like you're squeezing a big juicy navel orange. And then the legs, you can either keep the legs here, press the low back into the floor, press the upper back into the floor, stay here, or you can move your legs a little farther away. Really contract and push your legs push your spine like crazy towards the ground. You're trying to push your top edge of your pelvis, your low back, and your upper ribs into the floor like crazy. So you might even feel shaking here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Push towards the ground. And then go ahead and release. So you should feel a lot of tension here. You need to create that. You're actually stimulating the deep flexor muscles, trying to push the spine towards the ground, feeling the low back touch, feeling the middle back touch. We're going to do 2 more of these. Farther away from your body the knees are, the more intense it is. If you need the knees to be closer, try that. So let's begin by contracting the core. Squeeze a big juicy navel orange in your body. Top pelvis flattens into the ground. Low back is in the ground. And then middle and upper back press into the floor. The breath stays up near the heart. And 1 more. And then come out. So hopefully I'm describing this well enough for you to get that action. And this is when I first had my hip replacement. This is the way that I started to develop my core. And even now, I feel a lot of intensity when I do this. So the action is that you're pushing the low back to the floor, the top edge of the pelvis, and the upper spine. And you're really pushing towards the ground, which is activating the core and the ability for the body to actually go into a ball shape is what you're doing. All right, 1 more. Contract the core. Squeeze a big juicy navel orange in your tummy. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Push the low back into the floor. Push the top whole edge of the pelvis. The whole top edge of the back of your pelvis is pressing to the floor. And then your lower ribs are pressing, your middle ribs, your upper ribs pressing to the floor. And you sip the breaths in to the upper lungs. Take 1 more breath. And then go ahead and draw the knees in, rock side to side. We need the core because that supports us. All right, let's do a little bridge flow to move the back of the body. Take the blanket away from the back of the head, walk the feet away from you. Actually put the block in between the knees and walk the feet away from you. Lift the upper back, slide the shoulder blades towards each other so get nice and narrow in the top of your body. Pick your head up, tuck your chin towards your chest. Your feet are walked away from you a little bit here. Exhale. As you inhale, push your feet into the floor, flatten your low back. Start to lift the pelvis and start to peel the spine and lift the right arm off the floor. Let the head rotate to the left. You're only lifting off the floor to the heart. And then exhale to lower. Inhale. Lift the arm, let the head rotate the other direction. Exhale. Inhale to left. Exhale to lower. Inhale to left. Exhale to lower. Inhale left. Exhale lower. You could contract the tushy on the way up. We need the tushy. The hamstrings and the tushy area is very supportive of back health. You want to have a strong tushy. So the bridge flow, any bridge is good. Bring yourself back to center. Walk your feet closer to your body. Lift your head up, tuck your chin towards your chest. Push your hands into the floor. Squeeze the tushy, squeeze the block, flatten the low back, and let's peel the spine away from the floor. As high as is comfortable for you, maybe above the heart here if you can, adding that back bend. Push your arms into the ground. Squeeze the block, squeeze the tushy, lengthen the knees away from you. and breathe into your lower torso. Press your heart up. Take one more breath. And then slowly, slowly bring yourself down. So that's a back bend. The way to take some of that tension out is with a twist. Let's bring the blanket back underneath your head. Take your hands out to the side like a scarecrow. And then walk your feet off the mat so they're really wide. Inhale, let your legs go to the right, let your head go to the left. Exhale, contract your core, squeeze the big juicy orange in your core to come back to center. Inhale, legs gently go to the left, head goes to the right. Exhale, contract your core to come back to center. Inhale, legs to the right, head to the left, back to center. Legs to the left, head to the right, back to center. Bring your knees all the way into your chest. Spread your legs. Give yourself a massage. And then it's time for Shavasana. Bring yourself into whatever variation you'd like. Legs are straight. A really nice way to end is legs up the wall if you're near a wall or a chair. Just let go, let everything integrate and seep into your body. Shavasana is a posture of integration, allowing everything that just took place in your body to integrate. So let that be the case. So stay focused to your breath, human being versus human doing. If you'd like, you could use the words inhale relaxation, exhale tension. Dinamaya kame, govinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam. Dinamaya kame, govinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam. Diname kame, govinde mukande, udare apare, hariyam kariyam. Diname kame. Begin to deepen your breath and start to wiggle your fingers, your toes, roll your ankles, your wrists. Gently bend the knees. Draw the knees into the chest and side to side, rocking all the way onto your side. Try to stay in a mellow place, eyes are closed if you can, and then push yourself up to a seated position. Coming into a comfortable seated position, you may want to reach down and grab a hunk of flesh on one side and pull it back so you expose your pelvis. Helps to be a little bit more supportive of spinal alignment. Keeping your eyes closed if you can. Bring your hands together. The thumbs touch the sternum bone. Press the heart to the hands to the heart, and lengthen the back of your body. Do a little search of inner eyeball awareness of how you're feeling in your body. Let your awareness go to your body, maybe to where you have the most issues. We're going to connect through sound, bringing a beautiful vibration to settle and to connect. Energy turns into matter, and one of the first ways that happens is through sound. So when we detect waves from energy, from the source of energy turning into matter, it's the sound waves that we notice. So let's use our sound. We are wind instruments capable of making sound. Your sound is going to be the M, the lips are together vibrating. Take a deep breath to exhale. Now a deep inhale. Bring your awareness to how you're feeling. We're going to close with the word namaste, which is a recognition as we bow to each other, whether we're physically with each other or not, that the human being in me is same as the human being in you. Namaste. Definitely a little bit more wisdom-based practice today. I used a lot of terminology that I don't always share, and I really feel that that's where the healing takes place. So hopefully it's good for you. And if not, you take what you need and you leave the rest, right? My core feels good. My body feels good. Hopefully yours does too.
Good, Joanne. Glad to hear that. Or forever hold your peace. Is that what I was saying? I think so. So Nancy, low back, Lauren asked, I thought that was Lauren that asked for low back. Oh my gosh, isn't that crazy? I don't know why, because I saw what Lauren said. So I hope that was okay. Yes, you will, Dina. Yes. Okay, good, Lauren. Good. Aw, Joanne, I think we're connected, right? Because every time that's what you say, just what you needed. So it looks like I have the sixth sense of what you need, not sick, S-I-C-K, sixth, right? Ooh, and I was talking about senses today. Ooh, well, the sixth chakra, you have 4, 5, 6 is ajna. Ooh, that's crazy. There's another thing. The sixth sense, and when you talk about chakras or energy, you've got 4 is the heart, 5 is the Vishuddha, which is the right to speak and to be heard. 6 is ajna, which is the deeper reasoning, the human being aspect. So there's another thing. We're more alike than we are different. So many of these wisdom practices, it's the same message, shared in different languages. It's really, really powerful when I think about it that way. Humans 6,000 years ago in Asia learned something, and humans in South America learned the same thing. Just they say it differently. So anyway, all right. Good, Nancy. Great, Lynn. All right. Glad we're still here and I didn't get kicked out. Oh, hi, Stevie. Did I know you were here, Stevie? No. Oh, yeah, I did. You were up there. Okay. Anyway, bye, everyone. I'm off to see the wizard. All right. Bye.